So changing education, I think, would be very important. Keeping what serves a purpose, removing what doesn't, and replacing it with some more hands-on education. So I was quite lucky to be in some different schools around the United Kingdom, and some places did give away some of their technology to help developing nations. But I think that we could be at a safe time now to bring some of this stuff back, such as soldering irons, computers, and not just teaching children how to do electrics, but more so robotics should come into this. Hopefully we would see a rapid expansion of atomic computers to be able to get past the speed of light computering. And the reason why we need to be more real-time computering is to be able to control robotics or operate robotics in real time, regardless of where they are within the solar system. You would like to think that these things would be developing pretty quickly, and especially with atom computers being able to read the rotations. You still need a computer to read the rotations, but the atom from one splice to another splice would be able to read it in the now moments, no matter where it was positioned in our solar system. This can build some pretty amazing technology, especially be able to speed up an awful lot, where especially if you're on another body over near Jupiter, you don't have to wait 5 hours to send some programs from here, reprogram this, go swing around there. You can do it in real time. And this would be quite interesting. A lot of challenges, but still very good. You know, when thinking about it, do children ever get any life skills in education? And this one I think is quite important. It touches the hearts of most people who have children and anyone that's ever been through school education. I think this is quite a big one that I hear or have heard in the past times. So really revamping education would be a real massive step forwards for a number of reasons. I mean, it's very much metalwork and finding out new ways and new technologies that can able to heat metal. I think this is very important. In our school, we could heat metal, shape metal. You know, it was all great fun. Didn't get enough time to do that sort of thing. Woodworking skills can be quite fun. More so for girls, optional as well. It could be sewing, stitching. Some lads like to sew and stitch too. This is all very good. Cooking, but a bit more with healthier foods. I know this one's already in the education system, so I've heard. I think it's also an option. Arts and creative, making things, getting handy with your hands, let's say. Electronics, making electronics. I feel this is very big. Building bridges, construction, different things like this. When we were kids, we used to get together and build this stuff out of different materials and see which ones were strong enough. Flood prevention as well. It can be great fun, and it teaches children very big, broad life skills. Let's be realistic, that if they go to leave school and they're still getting to what they want to do with their life, this gives them a massive array of options at their leisure to utilize these skills in any field that they choose. And it could also put in that if they're stuck in one field for a bit and feel, that's not what I really want to do, they have at least that background knowledge to say, I might want to go and do this. And they've got that little bit of experience, hands-on and all the rest, to then jump into that field, and vice versa. And I think that education in that aspect would be far more beneficial, especially when coming into making robotics. Learning how to solder, do different circuit boards, this, that and the other. It starts off with being able to solder a board to power a light, then be able to learn CCDs. I think this is very important. What about programming, computer programming, and different stuff like that? Maybe it's not everybody's cup of tea, but learning the basics of it, it can get a few good minds to inspire that this built upon that industrial revolution. We're building pistons, railway tracks and different things like that. And I think that we've moved a long way from that, from the industrial era. And it would be nice to help everybody, young, going into the education system, to re-spark that. But now the new era of being pioneers in many fields that face more towards the planets and our back garden of our solar system. Because being able to bring in these materials, being able to operate robotics in real time, I mean, there's a lot of challenges to go, but just for the possibility of it, to think scientifically for a bit, it's going to move that way anyway. And I think that it would be very important for the younger generation to be to grips with this. But not only that, to be able to build, if we had a space program here, which I feel is I'm very passionate about that Britain needs a presence in space. We need rockets, we need technologies, we need probes. You can get a class in many schools to build different robots in a classroom, just little ones, just mess around ones, that could be a part of a more serious space program, and put them in there. Drop it down on the moon and let them have a go at operating it, or seeing what discoveries that they could make. And each and every school gets a chance to do it. And then when we bring back some resources, there's some more metals, there's some more materials to discover, experiment with, get hands on, get to know this stuff, so that when they go out into the wider world, they've got an absolute massive array, not of just opportunities, but also that knowledge to back up those opportunities in any adventure that they start their journeys in. And I think this is really important at moving the nation forward. It creates so many jobs, perhaps in the beginning when things get going. You don't see much movement. But as time goes on, every one of us will begin to feel that movement in this new direction that we all go into. Learning things about our star, but in real detail. Where they can upload it and each school has done their own different thing. I mean, it's a heck of a challenge, but it's not past us. Gee me, it must have been something to build the railway tracks and the railways, yes, and the trains to operate those. I mean, you could laugh that out of the world, really, when anyone were to say it. And then think about it. It was the first invention that connected people. So, again, we got this new connectivity here. And, yeah, that's where I feel the education system is lacking. We sold most of the equipment to help a developing nation, which was good. But I think that we need to replace this into our schools again and bring this back. And hopefully we start getting some more pioneers, more technologies come out, more breakthroughs. And yeah, the children and adults alike, as time goes on, begin to make those breakthroughs and discoveries. And any big discoveries that get made, why not everybody involved have a little plaque there as to what they achieved, that they can then inspire anybody else that will walk after them. This school was achieved this, this and this, and they get to feel proud of their school. And then, what's ours going to be? And then it puts that passion back into school and learning and gives absolutely beautiful jobs. And not just jobs, but also it brings resources home. And I think that's important because it then can function out and play out to be able to create the next set of pioneers that go off and do their thing. And it just keeps feeding this motion. So that's where I think that should be. And to focus on that, it's going to require money is going to be a sure thing. So different levels of fundraisers also that can be helped with the school, some fun activities to raise the funds and also put a tax across some of the tax pot over towards this, even if that means setting up different projects out in society where people find, we really like this stuff, we're going to buy this a lot, so it's an everyday thing. If you put an extra 20p on milk or something, and all of the proceeds of that extra 20p goes into this fundraiser. Well, do we all need milk? Well, perhaps, if it's something along these lines that everybody needs, an extra 20p here, a little 50p there. And we know that when we're buying that we are going to be ensuring our children's education too, matched with the tax pot so it doesn't create such a deficit with the taxation and too much tax. And I think that this can then begin to work for everybody in society all around. And especially if they begin to build farms or grow food or utilize ways to do this, collect this, put it here, move this, grab this, bring in this, and I think that's, regardless of your age, regardless of your background, regardless of what you choose to do when you become an adult, you are putting in, and we all can feel proud of that in our nation. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And hopefully in this endeavour, we get to inspire other nations too, to begin to do the same. Yeah, there you are. I'm going to leave that there. That's my education stance.